undefeated at home.
Dome as loud as it's been maybe in years.
Undefeated at home. This is our home. If we're going to take the ACC, that's the game that is going to send the message. You've got to win the first game at home.
Getting absolutely laid out by Alton Robinson.
We beat them the last time we were at home with them. And the freaking doors are always open.
Syracuse Orange fans, can you feel the heat?
What's going on, Cuse Nation? Welcome to yet another edition of Orange Heat. My name's Giovanni Heater, as always, and thank you for joining me. We are less than 24 hours away from one of the biggest and the most hyped up Syracuse football game that we have seen in over 20 years. Tomorrow night at 7:30, the Syracuse Orange will play host to the number one ranked defending national champion Clemson Tigers in front of a sold-out Carrier Dome crowd. That's right. Syracuse announced that at least 49,000 fans will be in attendance, a sold-out game for the first time since the Orange opened up the 1998 season against the Tennessee Volunteers. Now, Syracuse suffered a big-time loss at the hands of Maryland last weekend. My opinions on that? Throw this game right out the window. Yes, they got beat up bad. But I think that this is a situation where it is a complete wake-up call for this Syracuse football team. There's no way that you can convince me that Syracuse is going to play like they did last weekend. It was a situation where they didn't have enough film to prepare. They came in a little too high on themselves, and it certainly showed on the playing field. But Syracuse is ready for this very hyped-up contest against Clemson. Now, diving right into it, ESPN gives the Orange a 3.4% chance to win this ball game. That, throw it out the window. The point spread right now is in favor of the Clemson Tigers, 27.5 points. Take that, throw it out the window. No way it's going to happen, guys. I'm telling you right now, this Syracuse team is game. They got the wake-up call that they needed, and they were humbled up. They went to work this week, they drew up the playbook, and they are ready to play. There's nothing that says we can't play with this very talented Clemson team. Now, talking into that talent, I don't think I have to go out and tell you guys how good Clemson is. If you follow college football, or you even turn on ESPN one day, they'll tell you how good Clemson is. Clemson led by a second-year quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. This is a guy that is probably going to be the number one NFL draft pick when he is ready to make that jump to the National Football League. They're also led in the backfield by an extremely talented running back, Travis Etienne, who has seen major success in the last two seasons and really was the sole reason that Clemson clawed back into that game late in the fourth quarter last year. Clemson also has some stud wide receivers, Amari Rodgers, T. Higgins, Justin Ross, just to name a few. Some NFL caliber receivers playing at the collegiate level, and Syracuse is going to have their hands full, don't get me wrong. But then look at the defensive side of the football, okay? Defensive line, you lose a lot of experience there. Dexter Lawrence is gone. Christian Wilkins is gone. Cleveland Farrell is gone, okay? And right now, this is a Clemson team that is still getting their stride on defense, so to speak. And I think that's an opportunity that Syracuse is really going to take advantage of. Xavier Thomas is injured right now on the Clemson defensive line, and he's a huge part of filling those shoes. Well, he's not going to play against Syracuse, possibly, and that's also another opportunity that the Orange can take advantage of. Look, you throw everything away in this game, and you just got to look at, on paper, what these two teams look like. And Syracuse can play with this Clemson team. Syracuse is very talented, and Dino Babers even said that it's the crowd. It's the crowd. It's a game played inside the Carrier Dome. It's a lot of these guys' first home game startings, such as Tommy DeVito, but we also bring back so much experience. Andre Sisco's back there. He knows what it's like to play in the Dome, and he knows what it's like to play in Death Valley as well. There's no way you can convince me that the Orange show up like they did last week. Okay? I think you are going to see a game this week that could go down to the last minute because a community is so gathered around this game. It's so hyped. I was very, very down at the beginning of the week on this Syracuse team. Okay? And I grew more optimistic as the week went along, and right now I am extremely optimistic about this team. It goes back to have faith. Coach Babers told us to have belief without evidence. Okay, this is a situation where you need it once again, and every time he's told us that, he's delivered. You lost last week. You got punched in the mouth, okay? There's no denying that. But sometimes failure or mistakes is the best thing to pull the best out of an athlete, or any person for that matter. You face controversy, it's about how do you respond. And Dino Babers and this coaching staff doesn't recruit guys that are just going to roll over and play dead when things don't go their way. No, they fight back. And they play into the hype. And they go out there and they know that they have something to prove. And the beautiful thing about it is now we're the underdogs again. We were going to be the underdogs regardless. But now we're major underdogs. And if you guys don't remember, this team historically under Dino Babers plays really well when they're the underdogs. When all the odds are stacked against them and nobody believes that they're going to win the ball game, that's when they play their best with that chip on their shoulder. And I think that's what you're going to see Syracuse come out and perform with in this game. Don't get me wrong, this is the hardest game you could possibly play against the most talented team in college football. But it's a situation where it's like, you're telling me there's a chance. There's going to be 59,000 screaming fans in a concrete building with a roof. The noise moves everywhere. It's going to be so loud that they're not even going to be able to communicate their offense. It's to that extreme level. I was in there a couple years ago when we played against Clemson the first time around in the Carrier Dome. It was insane when we beat him with Dungy. Now Dungy's gone. So what are the keys to this game? Well, let's get into that right now. Obviously, the key to the game, first and foremost, especially on the offensive side of the football, is Tommy DeVito responding well to pressure. I watched the Maryland game once again. And as hard as it was to watch, I got to say, Tommy played pretty fairly well in that game. He did some things wrong, which he's going to do. And you just hope that each week it gets a little bit better and he learns a little bit more, right? But he did some really nice things. He had some really nice drives where he's dropping balls right in the breadbasket. He improved from week 1 to week 2, which makes you think that he's going to improve from week 2 to week 3. Week 1, he wasn't even on the same page as Tristan Jackson. Week 2, Tristan Jackson goes out and catches 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tommy DeVito had 3 touchdown passes in this ball game. Okay, he got drives going. And it was a situation where I don't think his receivers really helped him much against Maryland. Because they're so used to, okay, play's dead. Okay, Dungy's in trouble now. He's just going to run for it. I got to go find someone to block for him. But now Tommy DeVito's at the helm, and they have to get into the basically scramble drill. It's football 101. Oh, shoot, my quarterback's in trouble. I got to fight to get open till the play's over. But that's something this Syracuse team hasn't had to do with Eric Dungy at the quarterback helm. They're starting to catch their stride. And the key to Tommy DeVito's success is not only going to be the receivers, who need to play well, who need to get themselves open in space, and who need to catch the football played out. But it's going to be the offensive line. They haven't announced, they won't right up until game time, but you hope to have Sam Heckel back. That's a humongous loss on the offensive line. You need Cervais to play extremely well at the center position, right? You want Ryan Alexander to deliver, right? Carlos Vettorella struggled against Maryland. Well, guess where his fuel's coming from? That game, and he knows he needs to deliver in this ball game. It's going to be the offensive line. Can they create a little bit of space to get the running game going and then allow Tommy that little bit of time to step back and throw? Because when Tommy DeVito has 4 seconds, if that, if Tommy DeVito has time to set his feet and throw the football, he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. He can zing it in there so fast, and he has such a pretty deep ball, and his release is so quick that if you can give him a little bit of time, he can gash this Clemson defense, who I don't think is what they were last year. And I think if Clemson loses this game and doesn't win a national championship this year, when it's all said and done as well, I think it comes down to the defense. Because their offense is one of the most talented that college football has seen this era. But then you look at the defensive side of the football for the Orange. Okay, you let up 63 points last year. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. First of all, there was very little to none tape to watch on Maryland. Okay, Maryland, I looked back. They played literally 4 plays against Howard. A couple different sets of those plays, but 4 basic plays against Howard, leaving Syracuse with nothing. As I said, they were going to play a very vanilla offense against Howard because they don't want to give away any secrets to Syracuse, basically, right? That's what Syracuse's goal was to do against Liberty, right? So Syracuse went in with very little to none preparation, and this is a coaching staff that prides themselves on preparation, right? I mean, in-game adjustments are one thing, but Dino Babers is so good at getting a team prepared for a football game, but when that aspect is taken out of it, that's when you see struggle. So that's what happened with the defense. And it came a point where they sort of gave up on it a little bit, I think. You saw guys like Cisco still going hard. He got an interception. We'll see what happens this Saturday, but no way that this defense gives up 63 points again. They're hungry, and they're ready to go out and hit somebody. And why wouldn't you want to hit the Heisman contending quarterback? When you turn on ESPN, that's all they're talking about, right? So, in this game, I think the defense actually shows up big time. I think you might see him force a few turnovers. Trevor Lawrence threw 2 interceptions week 1 and an interception last week. That's 2 games in a row he's thrown a pick. Against less talented actually, in Georgia Tech, much less talented secondary. And in Texas A&M, honestly, a less talented secondary than Syracuse. Texas A&M, fantastic football team. Right now, better than Syracuse. But the secondary is the deepest and best position on this Syracuse football team right now. Though they didn't show it last week. On paper, they're the best, the most talented. And they showed that last year because a lot of them it's pretty much the same exact group of guys, right? Why can't they get an interception? Why can't they get a takeaway this week? Well, they will. Okay, and the big factor that's going to help with is the Carrier Dome. It's 3rd down and 5. That place is going to be going insane. If that doesn't give as Dino Babers says, our goal is for the crowd to play the factor that it turns our 3 and 4 star guys into 4 and 5 star guys. Or our 2 and 3 star guys into 4 and 5 star guys. That's how much of a factor a crowd can have in college football. It's the most unique and beautiful and just unreplicable atmosphere that there is. You can't replicate a student section and a marching band and hometown community pride. There's going to be 50,000 people in the Carrier Dome. Sean McDonough is receiving an award calling this game the most prestigious award that a Syracuse grad can earn. Kurt Herbstreit is making a trip to the Carrier Dome for what I believe is the first time ever, as far as I understand. We're on a national map. These guys aren't going to roll over and play dead because this is the biggest thing that they might do in their entire life is play this football game against Clemson. And everybody's beatable, and that's the beauty of college sports. And you saw that last week. Syracuse got the punch in the mouth that they so desperately needed. They were very high on themselves coming out of the bowl game. They came into the Maryland game cocky. They came into the season cocky. Too confident in themselves. And they didn't work as hard. And there wasn't stuff to prepare. It was a weird situation. Mike Locksley, brand new coach at Maryland. Liberty, same thing with Hugh Freeze. But we know Dabo, and we know this team, and we played them last year, and it's pretty much the same team, just a little less talented on the defensive side of the football. And you had that team on the ropes. A fourth down stop, and you win that ball game in Death Valley. Imagine where we would be now if we won that ball game. But that's a story for another day. You could go, if ifs and buts and coconuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, right? But the reality of it is we are in this football game. And I'm surprised with how much hype is staying in this game. I thought it was going to be all over after we lost game day and no one was going to care. But that's not the case. Yeah, some people put their season tickets up on StubHub. Well, boo you, you're a fake fan then. I'm sorry. That's just whatever. Fake fan. But if you're watching this show, you're not a fake fan, right? And the hype is still here. There's videos everywhere. It's all everybody's talking about here in Syracuse. And the community pride and the hype is here. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a sellout at the Carrier Dome. They still had 175 season tickets to sell. And in the last week, they sold them. Because this game is sold out. And that was the only way you could still get tickets. And then they announced the other day that it is completely sold out. There's going to be a lot of Clemson fans there as well. They travel pretty good. But there's so many cool things they're doing. They're doing Cuse on the quad. They're having live music. The student section is going white out as the rest of the dome is going orange out. And when the team comes out of the tunnel, they're going to throw orange powder up into the air all over themselves. That's going to look crazy. You're on a national stage, ABC primetime college football. No matter what, the country is going to be watching this game. Every college football fan tunes into ABC at 7:30 on a Saturday night. Everybody does. It's the biggest game of the week. And Syracuse is in it. If we win 8 games this season, this program is heading in a positive direction. If we win 7 games, we're moving forward. And that's the important thing to think about. Dino Babers knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seen a year like last year. It's going to take a lot to win this game. It takes a near-perfect game, and that's what we played a few years ago. And we played a near-perfect game last year. And the things that were imperfect is why we lost the ball game, obviously. It's going to take a near-perfect game to win this ball game. What's going to need to happen is, I think first you have to come out and punch him in the mouth early. Plain and simple, just like you did 2 years ago. If you get the ball first, you go right down the field and you score. I think first play of the game, you say screw it, and you let Tommy sling it deep to Tristan Jackson. Because you have nothing to lose, right? Throw the ball deep. The guy catches it and we score a touchdown. The key is going to be keeping the crowd in the game for 4 quarters. That's going to be a direct reflection of what's happening on the field. If Syracuse can stay in the game and keep the crowd into it, you have a chance. Because the crowd's going to play that much of a factor into how Clemson performs. The crowd, like I said, goes both ways with turning our guys into, 3 and 4 star guys into 4 and 5 star guys. But it goes backwards too. It can turn Clemson's 5 stars into performing like a 3 star. Because the communication's not there. It's frustrating. It's hostile. It's uncomfortable. The idea is to make the defending national champions uncomfortable. Whether that's trick plays, whether that's the crowd noise, whether that's getting up early, you have to get under their skin. And you have to bug them, and you have to make them butt heads with each other, and you have to make them confused. I think the tempo offense is going to play a big deal in this. It's crucial to get the run game going to allow the airstrike to be there. And I think it's there. I really believe that it's there. Historically, Tommy DeVito plays much better in the Dome than he does other places, right? Came in against Florida State, put up 24 points. Came in against North Carolina, saved the day. Well, those are his two best moments in an orange jersey. Both of them are in the Carrier Dome. So if history repeats itself, the guy's going to come out and sling dimes on Saturday and give Syracuse a chance to win this ball game because it's comfortable. It's home. It's in the Carrier Dome. Now, obviously, that has to change going forward, but you just play better at home, right? And Syracuse, besides, okay, so going back to how keys to winning this game, punching them in the mouth early, good. Defensively, you have to get a couple stops. Clemson's going to score, but if the defense can give the offense an opportunity to score and put points on the board and keep them in the ball game, then it's a good day. It's a good day. I think you have to punch them in the mouth early. You have to stay with them, which means that you have to maintain possession and really win the time of possession battle for the most part. And going with that, limit the turnovers. Whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game. If we go out and we turn the ball over 3 times, we're probably going to lose bad. But if we go out and we get an interception or 2, a couple extra possessions go a long way. Right? And we have a fantastic punter. I'm confident he can trap them just about anywhere if we ask him to. Great special teams, great kicker, all the faith in the world in those guys. It's going to come down to offense, defense, and who wants it more. Clemson wants it. And they're not sleeping on us just because we lost, by the way. They're not sleeping. Dabo Swinney knows way better than that. And he said you will not see that Syracuse team on Saturday. You will not. You'll see them play much better than that, and it'll be like a brand new team, and you'll never see them play like they did against Maryland again this season. It's all about growing, getting better. Maryland happened, you sweep it aside because guess what? We can still win the ACC Atlantic. Win this ball game, you're still in the driver's seat for the Atlantic, and then you can lose a game in the ACC and still have the automatic tiebreaker against Clemson. The season is in front of us. We control our own destiny, and we're a much better football team than was put on the field a couple weeks ago. The spread in this game, 27.5 points. Not going to happen. If I could bet money, I'd put $400. I swear to God, on Syracuse covering that spread. For real, I'd take Syracuse plus 27.5 any day. No way it's that kind of blowout. Not in that hostile environment. Not with a team with so much heart and family, and no way it happens. I'm taking Syracuse in that. And I guess we're at a point here now where let's drop our prediction. Right? Tommy DeVito comes out and shows Syracuse Nation what he's made of, finally. The receivers get going. Syracuse exploits Clemson's defense, taking advantage of that weak defensive line by giving Tommy opportunity. I think you got to let him run a little bit. Throw some quarterback draws like they did with Dungy. Designed runs with the quarterback. Keep doing those screens, those little slants. They work. Drive down the field methodically and then exploit them through the air. Get the run game going. I'm expecting Tommy DeVito come out big. 3 touchdowns, 4 on the day, possibly. I'm expecting Mo Neal to come out big, and Abdul, and Jarvion when he's needed. The receivers to play big. The defensive line to play absolutely huge. The nation is so big on Trevor Lawrence and his fantastic offensive line, which, not to discredit them, but that makes you hungry. And this defensive line is going to come out and put him on his back. Make him feel the ground. Even if he throws the ball, make him feel the ground. Because it makes him uncomfortable, going back to that, in a hostile environment. Got to limit the run game. Linebackers got to play very well. Andrew Armstrong, Lakeem Williams, they got to be on their absolute A game. I think the secondary comes away with at least one interception, if not two. They're that good. They're that talented, and they're that coordinated. This is a matchup that I've been so excited to see since the game was announced. T. Higgins, Amari Rodgers, and Justin Ross up against Andre Sisco, Fatu Melifonwu, Trill Williams, Evan Foster, Scoop Bradshaw, Christopher Frederick, Antoine Cordy. The secondary is elite. Elite. As is Clemson's offense. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. It's going to be a great ball game on Saturday. Everybody tune in. Show the team some love, support. If you're going up to the Dome, enjoy it. You never know when an opportunity like that's going to come around again. You get to say you were at a sold-out Carrier Dome when they played the number one team in the country. And going into the prediction when they beat the number one team in the country. I really believe that Syracuse wakes up, realizes what they need to do, and they come out and shock the world. The entire country with a massive win over Clemson. Final score in this ball game, the same one as 2 years ago. 27-24 in favor of the Syracuse Orange. 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals. That's what I think it's going to be. I think Andre Schmidt nails one right at the end of the game. Storm the field, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Clemson plays a great game, but the defense frazzles him. This is their first road game. It's a true test for them. And I think Syracuse responds very well, and they get this city excited even further for some college football finally. They get back into the top 25. They put themselves back on the map, and they control the ACC Atlantic. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is a massive game. This is an episode that we can look back on in a long time and just remember that's the episode before Syracuse played Clemson. So you heard it here first. Syracuse comes up big with a victory, not only covering the spread, but taking down the Clemson Tigers 27-24 inside the Carrier Dome. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you guys provide. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. As always, I want to hear what you guys are thinking about this game, so throw that in the comments section. I want to know what you guys think. What does this Syracuse team have to do to win this game? Are they going to win this game? And what is the atmosphere going to be like, and how will that play into everything? This is big. Savor the flavor, people. Savor the flavor. Big time stuff for Syracuse football. Thank you guys. As always, Giovanni Heater out. And let's go Orange, baby.
Thank you for listening to Orange Heat, done by pursuing sports broadcaster and high school student Giovanni Heater. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at GioHeater. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Syracuse athletics and Orange Heat action. Let's go Orange!